Good morning, everyone. It's April 25th, 2019. All right, so I'm trying to think of what to say here without being too offensive to certain people. Okay, so Sodom and Gomorrah. These two places were said to be destroyed as a result of the incredibly sinful ways of those two cities, the inhabitants of the two cities. And here we are, how many thousand years later? No one really knows, right? And the United States, at least good chunks of it, if not the whole thing. I mean, they're very, very gluttonous, sinful people all over the place. And I'm not without sin, so I can't cast any stones. However, I can point out that, pretty much in the Bible it says God destroyed these places because of their sinful ways. And I would have to say that there are many places in this world now that are long, long overdue. And yet, nothing's being done. Wasn't that a promise in the Bible? Anyway, not really about the Bible or people's beliefs, and there's no way to pry them from the people's minds. This is why things don't get done. Take G. Edward Griffin, for example. This is a man who dedicated his life to waking people up, waiting and seeing. And unfortunately, he waited too long. Not that I don't have mad respect for G. Edward Griffin, because I do. But how many decades do we need to spend on trying to wake up the public to the evils around them? I mean, the most evil, the biggest evil, isn't at the street level. It's at the authority level. It's at the government level. Simply because the average citizen can't hide behind authority. They can hide behind going to church, fair enough. I mean, we got lots of them, right? They can hide behind being great baseball coaches, or whatever. But they don't have that seal of the state behind them. I'm a big fan of music. And I recently come across a song called Hey Man, Nice Shot by Filter. And when I like a song, I try to read the lyrics and find out what the fuck they're talking about. When this particular song, he's talking about going to extremes to make a fucking point. And that's what needs to be done. Extremes. Nothing but a fucking big fist in somebody's face. And this is proverbial, this isn't literally walking around punching people in the face to wake them up. You knock them upside their head through extremities. You knock them upside their head through contagion. And I've explained what a contagion is numerous times before, but I will try once again. Contagion is a psychological phenomenon where an idea, and it's got to be a simple idea, it can't be complicated. An idea spreads from one person to another. It's sort of like a viral video. And it changes the outlook of the masses rather quickly. In order for any resistance or revolution or restoration, as some of my co-resistors like to say. See, they don't want to completely wipe it out, like me. And they want to revert back to the original intent, which is a lot closer to me, my ideology, than what we live in today. So I'm sort of okay with that. Still assumes that one class has a right to rule over and tax the rest of the population. And that's my problem with it. So, we have a nation that's incredibly sinful. We participate in every sin imaginable. And yet, we've been allowed to thrive for a long time. A couple hundred years. So it makes me wonder about the whole sin thing. It does. Why is it Sodom and Gomorrah got destroyed for their sins, but we have not? What makes us so special? I don't know. I don't know what makes us special. It certainly isn't our intellect. Certainly isn't our ability to reason. It isn't our ability to see through ugly things. It's not our ability to recognize evil when we see it. I don't know what to say anymore. I keep putting these videos out hoping, just like G. Edward Griffin did, and I feel like sometimes maybe waking people up isn't the way to go. Maybe there's already enough people, and we just need to find our meeting grounds, our not only physically, but ideologically, right? We need to find where we agree and focus with pinpoint precision on those things, and slowly, incrementally, work on the things we disagree about. So we have some serious discussions over at Discord, and as I said, we have individuals in there who think reverting back to original intent's the best idea, because it leaves some kind of structure in place. It leaves our infrastructure, what's left of it, in place. Except there was nothing stopping the politicians throughout the decades, centuries, from subverting that Constitution. And it continues to this day. That's why we have things like the National Defense Authorization Act. That's why we have things like the Patriot Act, rather. That's why we have things like the Federal Reserve and police forces instead of peacekeepers. That's why we have over 2 million people in prison for mostly nonviolent drug crimes. And we can see this decay in every institution. Take the Boy Scouts, for example. This is an organization touted by many conservatives as the organization that teaches little boys to be self-reliant men. But instead, what has happened is they've racked up 12,254 victims of pedophilia. Don't you think these are sins that really need to be punished? And if God's not going to do it, then shouldn't we? I'm just saying. Just hypothetically, right? Shouldn't we be the ones to punish these people? Which brings me to one of my subscribers' comments. I'm going to go ahead and pause for a moment. I'm going to go over to his comments, because I told him I was going to steal his comment on my next video, or on a video. So here we go. Alright, here we are in my comment section. And by the way, I was standing on my porch yesterday, and something, random fucking thing, out of the sky or whatever, come and hit me right in the damn eye, very hard. So my left eye is a little fucked up and blurry, and as a result of that, so please bear with me. Alright, this comes from Beta Talk 357. This guy's been a subscriber for a very long time. He's followed me from one channel to another, and anybody who would have him in their organization would be very, very lucky to have this individual. Very, very smart. He says that this is being done by the elites for several reasons. Number one, to normalize degeneracy so they don't take heed of America's collapsing into tent city third world status overnight. Number two, to encourage pedophilia for all to invalidate the concept of law and order, or at least dissuade people seeking justice or revenge if they get a lot of people to do it. Number three, the elites want to destroy future generations that compete against them and thereby could take over their multi-billion-dollar empires. Number four, since America is devolving, children are being left with no option but to resort to prostitution to survive, just like in Iraq. Difference between Iraq, a lot of older men were killed in war. Women aren't allowed to work. If they are, they don't make money, much money. In America, women work top-end jobs, but choose to spend the money on themselves than the children. Number five, the elites imported Islamic migrants to start introducing pedophilia to make it a stronghold. America's current child kidnappers, perverts, and pedos are still forced into the shadow for now. And I wrote back to him, I'm stealing your words, LOL. Beautiful fucking comment. No way to say it better. Beta, you are the fucking man. And you are. And by the way, I don't hold comments back. YouTube does, and it makes me feel some kind of way. I think every comment should be put down there. So, I go ahead and blanket accept all the comments, because no one should be censored. And you see what they do? They make it so all of the comments are not put down there. And most of it's on this fucking video I uploaded, and I wish I had it now, but nevertheless, it's there. This pedophilia thing is one of the biggest problems we have. It wrecks future generations. I'm going to go ahead and make a confession right now, because people got to be wondering why I have it in so badly for pedophiles. When I was a child, I did not run into one pedophile, but a few. I was lucky enough to not experience too much of the degeneracy that they had to offer. However, I was victim to a little bit of it. And when you are abused in such a way, one of two things happen to you. Either you become the pedophile, or you have a strong hatred of pedophiles. I chose the strong hatred of pedophiles because I don't see how anybody could have a sexual attraction to children. This going on is wrecking future generations. They're making future generations like me or worse. Now, I'm a fucking mess. I've not been able to get my shit together for the last 10 years. The only thing I have is this damn YouTube channel. And my family. Everything else has gone to shit. My finances. I used to be fairly well off. Just my everyday life. It's gotten worse and worse and worse over the last decade. And it doesn't seem like there's any stopping the momentum. You don't want a bunch of people who are as damaged as I am running around making decisions for this country. Because a lot of them will make decisions based on their own damage. I try not to do that. So, and this is one of many decadent ways we have. I mean, just consider, I worked at the country club down here for a while. And of course they gave every other person who was arrested their job back, but not me. But nonetheless, these people would order big-ass plates of food. They'd take a couple of bites and throw the rest away. Meanwhile, we have how many people going hungry in what's supposed to be the greatest country on the planet. Meanwhile, a lot of the people at the country club behind the scenes are molesting their children and others. Meanwhile, they're committing white-collar crimes that's not prosecuted. Meanwhile, Congress gets to write laws for us and then exempt themselves, such as the insider trading laws. And meanwhile, we all continue to take all of the bullshit that's thrown at us every fucking day of the week. Don't you find that to be kind of, well, stupid? I do. If you agree with me, if you like my videos, like my personality, whatever it is, please do give me a thumbs up. Maybe a share, and, of course, if I'm worthy of your spare change, my PayPal link is below. Till next time, kill the state, live free.